Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm gonna be wrapping up my best of 2025 series, which is good because here's a crazy fact. We are already almost halfway through January 2026. Absolutely wild, but here we are. So in yesterday's video, I shared my 5 favorite skincare discoveries from 2025, and in today's video, to wrap this whole best of series up, I'm going to be sharing the it's 5 with a bonus. Listen, there are 6 skincare devices that I absolutely really loved this past year. One was kind of newer to me towards the end of the year, and then honestly one is a long discontinued device that I ended up finding. Like, I found a new one this past year when mine futzed out on, well, it didn't futz out on me. I dropped it in the shower, but anyway, we'll talk about that, but it is a discontinued device. So we're gonna consider that one a bonus, and we're still gonna call this a top 5, if you will, with a bonus. But yeah, I am a huge fan of at-home skincare devices. I have found that for me, having a really consistent skincare routine combined with some at-home treatments has been really beneficial for getting my skin to a place where I am personally really pleased with it. I mean, and this is just by my standards, right? Like, other people could look at my skin and think, yeah, that you can still use some improvement. And yeah, sure, I probably could. But honestly, like, my skin has come so far from the congested, like, mess that it used to be before I finally did a little bit more research about skincare and started really focusing on the ingredients that actually were beneficial for the issues that I was dealing with. So anyway, all that being said, skincare is great, but I do love my devices, and I do think that my results overall are a result of the skincare and the different devices that I am using. So I'm going to share what those devices are. I do use them very consistently. So some of these things I use a couple times a week. Some of these things I might only use a couple times a month. Sometimes one thing here I will use almost every single day if I'm feeling like I really need a nice glow to my skin. So it just kind of depends on, you know, what I feel like my skin needs and what I have found is best in terms of maintenance. So yeah, anyway, I will link all of these devices down below. I am not telling you to go purchase these devices necessarily. They may not be the best fit for you. Also, some of these are kind of expensive. So you really want to think about whether you are the type of person that is going to dedicate the time to using a device that you're going to spend a lot of money on. If I'm going to be realistic, if I were to have purchased a lot of these devices in my 20s and maybe even in my early 30s, I don't know that I would have been as consistent with them. So I'm just now at a place in my life where, you know, the aging has really started to kick in. I'm in my later 40s. So for me at this point, it has kind of come to a time where, yes, I need to be using these devices to keep my skin where I would personally like it to be for this stage of my life. So this stuff works for me. It may not work for you, but if you are interested in any of these devices, I personally wholeheartedly recommend them. I would definitely at least read up a little bit more about them, check out some other people's reviews, because I do think that you can make a good amount of difference in your skin with at-home treatments. Are these going to be as fast as an in-office treatment? No, probably not. You're gonna have to be consistent. You're gonna have to put in the time, the effort, and then, you know, you will see results, but is it instant? No. So listen, nothing is a quick fix in life. This is what I have learned. I want nothing more than for there to be quick fixes for everything, but it just doesn't work that way. So as long as you're consistent though, and you have some issues that some of these devices could help with, I think they're worth checking out. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about the 5+1 bonus device that all these devices that I used the most consistently this past year. So let's get into it. Fun fact, before we get into the devices, I was just looking in the viewfinder and I just realized that I never finished my makeup today. I had a doctor's appointment this morning. I decided to do half of my makeup before going to the doctor's appointment because I ran out of time, and then I was like, I'll just finish it when I get back home. I never did. So please enjoy my naked eyeballs because I never got around to my eye makeup. Anyway, I shall persevere. Okay, the first thing that I'm gonna mention in terms of devices that I use super consistently and have been super consistent with now for years is red light therapy. There are some people out there who think that red light therapy doesn't do anything. I am not one of those people. I feel like my skin is proof of that. Once again, I think that my skin now at 47 is a result of all of the things that I've done over the years, obviously, but I have always, since discovering red light therapy, I have kept it in my routine at least a couple of times a week. Ideally, I try to do red light therapy treatments a minimum of 3 days a week, but ideally 4 or 5 days is what I aim for. I have a couple of different red light therapy devices. I still have my Mito Pro panel, which I highly recommend. I actually think that panels are kind of the best way to go because you can also easily use those on other parts of your body. I also have the Lumara mask, which is fantastic. One thing that I will say that I have changed in my red light therapy routine is that I stopped using the near infrared option on my Mito Pro panel, only because I did learn that that can actually aggravate melasma if you are prone to it. Now, I don't think that my melasma has necessarily ever just been triggered by the near infrared, but just in case it potentially could be in the future, or if it's playing any type of like contributing factor, I just switched to just using red light therapy, which still gives you really great anti-aging benefits. And that's really what I feel like I have noticed from these red light devices that I've now been using consistently over the years, is that it gives my skin just this beautiful kind of youthful glow. And I feel like for me, it has really slowed the aging process down. Obviously, I don't look like I'm in my 20s anymore. That's not realistic at the age that I'm at. That's not what I'm trying to do, but I'm trying to keep my skin now looking its best. And after having used red light therapy now for years, I can tell you that I do think it has made a difference in my routine. That combined with everything else that I'm doing is keeping my skin looking its best. So this is my Lumara facial mask. Now, the Lumara devices only use red light therapy. This has the proper wavelength to provide those anti-aging benefits. And what I really like about Lumara especially is the number of these little LED bulbs that the mask has. It has way more of these than any other mask on the market, and there's no infrared here. So if you are prone to melasma anywhere on your face, this is a great mask to check out. It also has this really great eye protection here, but you can see, hopefully you can see the number of the LED bulbs on this mask. They are so much more plentiful. I don't remember the exact number of LEDs off the top of my head, but I'll put an annotation here. It's way more than any other mask. But yeah, that extra coverage really helps to helps this mask to be super, super effective, and it's reaching like all areas of your face. So yeah, and it's really easy to use. There's a timer. I mean, I also have a timer on my panel as well. You have to be really consistent with red light therapy, but I do think that it provides your skin with a glow that a lot of other devices can't really give you. So yeah. I also, listen, I use red light therapy on other areas of my body as well. Like I said, I really like the panels for the versatility. I use red light therapy when I'm getting really bad period cramps. I use it when I have aches and pains, you know, on my back, or if my knee's feeling kind of funky, I will just stand in front of the panel for about 10-15 minutes. Not only is the warmth really soothing and relaxing, but I really do feel like it helps aid in that recovery from injuries. And listen, as I get closer to 50, I feel like it is so much easier at this point in my life to injure myself. Recovery, everything takes longer. So every little thing that I can do to help my body heal as quickly as possible, I'm gonna do it. And red light therapy has been good for me from head to toe. It's good stuff, and I definitely would recommend reading up about it. And if you can afford to invest either in a panel or a mask, I would say the best thing to do would be to save up for a panel just so that you have that versatility. But the masks do tend to be maybe a little bit more affordable, but worth every single penny. And if all of my red light devices were taken away from me tomorrow, I would immediately repurchase another one. This is something that I am really dedicated to, and I really think it has made a difference for my skin. So combine that with the other things, it will continue to be a part of my routine here in 2026. In fact, this morning, instead of like, you know, waking up earlier to be able to finish my makeup, instead of worrying about my makeup, I did my 15-minute session here. Worth it, totally worth it, even though I look like this right now. Okay, next, listen, I love microneedling, and I think the very best system that I have discovered is the Banish system. I purchased the replacement heads. These are really easy to take off and replace. One of these heads I will typically get about 8 or 9 uses out of. They say that you can reuse this up to, I think it's actually 7 times, 6 or 7 times. I go a little bit beyond that by a couple of uses, but not much. You are going to eventually, the more that you use these needles here, you're gonna dull them. But I don't think that this is an unaffordable system, and it works incredibly well. So once a week, I have been microneedling, and I think that microneedling has really helped to reduce the look of this scar that I have on the tip of my nose, as well as the one on my chin here. If you are newer to my channel, I had some fibrous papules removed by my dermatologist, and I think it was October of 2024. And those scars were nasty. I was not prepared for how deep that the dermatologist would have to go to remove the fibrous papule. And I was left with a huge divot on the tip of my nose, as well as one on my chin here. And honestly, had I known how bad the scarring would be and how much I would have to do to try to like fix this, I don't know that I would have had the papules removed, but what's done is done. But using the Banish microneedle system over the course of the last year plus here, I really feel like it has helped to reduce the overall depth of this scar. Like, I no longer think that it's like the main thing that people say when they look at my face. Like, it has calmed down so much, and the one on my chin I think looks even better. So what's really easy about a system like this is that you just stamp it. I only use the 0.25 millimeter heads. Banish does offer other depth with the needles as well, other depth levels. I'm not really personally comfortable with those for at-home use, so I stick with the most shallow, but I even think that the most shallow depth in terms of the needles here has made a big difference on the look of my scars here. So I don't really have a lot of other scars on my face. I haven't dealt with a lot of breakouts in recent years, so I don't have a lot of scarring from that. But just overall, I do think that microneedling helps to not only drive skincare ingredients a little bit deeper into the skin, but also that that response that your skin has, you know, thinking that there's like an injury. It sends that collagen to the surface and kind of helps to heal things up again. And when that happens, it makes your skin look a lot more youthful. So if you are consistent with microneedling, I think it can be a wonderful, more inexpensive addition to your skincare routine that can really have an impact on the overall tone and texture of your skin. So I would recommend not using, you know, the deeper needles. One, they're gonna hurt a whole lot more. I don't think this is particularly painful. It is around like the bony areas of my face, but it doesn't make me cry. Like it makes my eyes tear up a little bit when I like get around the orbital bone here. But other than that, like I don't have any reaction to this. It's not like, you know, I'm like cringing every time I press this into my skin. If I were to like go deeper, yeah, I think it could hurt a lot more, but I find this to be quite comfortable for an at-home treatment. And when you're all done, you just fill this cap with alcohol to the fill line here. Then you put your thing back on, you let that soak. I usually leave it in there for about 15-20 minutes. And then I take this out, I let it air dry. I obviously pour the rest of the rubbing alcohol down the drain, and I'm basically ready to use this again a week later. So I love the Banish system. I would highly, highly recommend it if you are looking for a very easy at-home microneedle system. Next. Okay. I was so excited about this device. I actually purchased another Aqua facial device a couple of months before I purchased the Shark Facial Pro Glow. So no, I did not have this sent to me. I bought it myself. I bought it mostly with my my Ulta rewards points because I had a lot. And also over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Ulta put this system on sale. So that is when I jumped on it and I applied as many points as I could for an online order because my stores didn't have this in stock. So I only paid $99 for this. It's a screaming deal in my book. And this is such a great aquafacial system, you guys. I love the Deep Puffy as well. I have been using this most mornings and evenings, but I have only been using the aquafacial portion here in this one. This is your little power situation here, so both of these get plugged into here. I have only been using this, I would say once, it's been like, not even once a week, like once every 2 weeks, I think is plenty for like an aquafacial for myself. And I actually just have been using water with this. It does come with the Shark, like, there's a couple of like skincare products that come with this. Sometimes I will use those, but a lot of times I just use straight up water. And I just love how this gets my pores so incredibly clean. There's always at least a couple of like sebaceous filaments and some other things kind of floating around in the water. For the most part, my skin is pretty clean. I take very good care of my skin, but there's still, you know, some stuff that can accumulate. And I feel like this is just a great refresh for me. Is this the like must-have item that I think everyone should invest in? Not necessarily. This is totally extra. You don't need something like this. I would say it would be smarter to invest in something like microneedling. It's, you know, this is fairly, I don't want to say it's inexpensive, but you know, like this would be a great thing to incorporate into your routine. Red light therapy, I think, is really, really important. But is this a must-have? No. But do I love it? I do. Would I repurchase it instantly? Absolutely, because now this is a part of my routine and it's fabulous. It's fabulous. So save those Ulta points, save yourself some dollars. And also wait for Ulta to send you one of those 20% off coupons that includes the prestige items, because yeah, you could even save a little bit more money than what I did, because I think when I bought this, it was only 15% off. But yeah, listen, I would repurchase this in a heartbeat. So this Shark Facial Pro Glow device, probably, I would say for sure, my favorite like new discovery of 2025. I think all of these other things, the Lumara mask was new to me this past year, but red light therapy overall wasn't. So this was like my newest device, and hands down, I would absolutely repurchase it. Okay, just a couple more to go here. My Foreo Bear, she's in her little pouch here. So I use my Foreo Bear maybe once or twice a week. And there are also some weeks where I just get a little lazy about it. But I have been fairly consistent with this microcurrent device. By the way, I use the NuFace Hydrating Aqua Gel with my Foreo Bear. Foreo has their own like conductivity gel stuff, but I don't know, I like this one. And yeah, I will just do this mostly along my jawline. I don't go too far back into my masseter muscles because I don't really necessarily want to activate those. I get, if you're new around here, I get talks in my masseter muscles to prevent me from clenching and grinding my teeth into an oblivion. But I definitely go along this beginning part of my jawline here, and I feel like it has really helped to keep this area a little bit tighter. Because I do get the talks in my masseter muscles, it has taken a lot of bulk from this back part of my face. If you watched my channel like, I don't know, 10 years ago, if you go back a ways, if you look at my face, it looks significantly rounder in my earlier videos. Not because I have like a moon face, but because my masseter muscles were so enlarged that it made my face look super, super round. That's not normally what my face is supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like this, where my masseter muscles aren't like huge and enlarged. That is how much I clenched and like basically ground my teeth. It was nuts. So, but when they took that bulk away, the muscle here shrank quite a bit, and that definitely lent some laxity to this area over here. So I do find that just kind of doing that microcurrent in specifically in this area kind of helps to keep it just a little bit tighter with that loosened skin. So it just kind of, it tightens those muscles under there up a little bit more and just doesn't make that skin look quite as loose as it could. Will I still get the masseter talks? Absolutely. Listen, I need to keep my teeth into old age. I don't want to be one of those old people that has to have dentures. I would like the option to be able to keep my natural teeth as long as possible, but that's not going to happen if I crack all of my teeth by grinding them all day long. Yes, I know about night guards. Guess what? I have one. It's great for nighttime. I don't even use it at nighttime because I don't have to, because these muscles are now completely immobilized. If you clench and grind 24/7, honestly, I think Tox is the best thing that you can do. But do prepare yourself that if that part of your face is rather full, that that can lead to some laxity and some sagging here towards the front of your face. So you win some, you lose some. But I do feel like this device here kind of helps keep that in check a little bit more. I don't really use this in a lot of other places on my face. Sometimes I will use it on the tops of my cheekbones here if I want just a little bit of a lift in this area. Is this temporary? Yeah, it is. Listen, if I don't use it for a few weeks, yeah, absolutely, things go back to the way that they were. The more consistently that you use this device, the better the results will last. So yeah, if you stop using all of these things, you'll stop seeing the benefits from them. So that's just how the devices work, is you have to be consistent, which is why I've always said, if you know that you are not the type to be able to dedicate to, you know, like, this takes time, this takes effort, this takes energy. And if you don't feel like you want to dedicate it to this stuff, then don't spend your money on these things, because you're not going to use them, right? And there's nothing more annoying than looking at things in your house that you've spent a lot of money on and then going, ugh, wish I wouldn't have done that. So just know yourself. That I'm a big advocate of knowing yourself. Okay, the Nira laser. You know what? I never reviewed this. I never shared a formal review of it, but I have now consistently been using this for over a year. There's only one kind of key area, well, I guess two. I have two smile lines. I have just been using this on my smile lines to basically see if I can stop them from looking super deep. And I really think it's helping. I don't think that my smile lines are nearly as deep as they used to be before I started using this. So it's a very easy device to use. You just basically press this against your skin. You hold this button. The treatment, you know, lasts a couple of seconds. And then once you hear the beep, you move down to the next area and you just basically follow that down until you're at the end of your smile lines. You could use this on your marionette lines. I know a lot of people use this around the eye area. I don't really deal with a lot of, you know, like wrinkling and stuff around my eyes. So I haven't used this really in that area. I'm more thinking about these lines because these are a little bit more prominent for me than they may be for somebody else. So, but do I think that the Nira laser works? I do. I think this is a really great device. Is it really expensive? Yeah, it is. But I do think that I'm seeing results from it. And like, I can see that like every time that I sit down to film a video, thinking about what my skin looked like a year ago, comparing it to now, I think these lines aren't quite as prominent. So I think I've actually been using this over a year. I feel like I have. I don't even know when I got this, but anyway, it works. There's other lasers out there, but this is the one that I have and it does work. So I don't know. If you want to read up more about it, I will have all of these things linked down below. So go read up about this stuff yourself. There's other people's reviews. There's all sorts of information on all of these websites. So definitely worth reading up about any of these things here. Now, my bonus, it's the Clarisonic, because guess what? I am still that girl. I bought my first Clarisonic in 2011 and I'm still using Clarisonic in 2016. Is this company defunct? Yeah, they are. Did I find a brand new one? What is this? A Clarisonic Smart Profile? Did I find a new one of those earlier in 2025 because I dropped my old one in the shower? Yeah, I did. Found it on Mercari. Some lady out there, I don't know, bought it at some point, never opened it, like years ago. Like this was, I don't know, this was like some kind of like holiday, it was in a holiday packaging. So I don't know, maybe she received it as a gift and she's like, I hate that device, I'm never gonna use it. And then she put it up on her Mercari and as fate would have it, I needed one. So I paid $200. I paid $200 for a device from a company that is no longer even in business, but guess what? I still have a bunch of replacement brush heads because I bought a bunch when Clarisonic went out of business. And yeah, I will always love this device. At some point, I will no longer be able to purchase replacement devices if I lose or break any of the ones that I still have left. And that'll be a sad day. It will. I will go to the Foreo cleansing devices, but I am someone who firmly believes in a cleansing device because I don't think that I would wash my face properly otherwise. What I've loved about the Clarisonic all these years is I think that these bristles give me the very best clean. I love the way that it feels on my skin. It gives a gentle exfoliation for me. It has never irritated my skin. I always make sure after every use to take the brush off the actual device. I rinse it out underneath so there's no slime or mold growing under here. Once a week, I also soak the heads in some alcohol just to keep them disinfected properly. Yeah, and after each use, I take a little bit of hand soap and will wash the brush head as well, just very gently. And then I just put it in my little thing in the bathroom to dry for the next use. I only use my Clarisonic in the evenings, so it's just a once a day thing at the end of the day. Keeps my skin super clean. And still to this day, I think that that is one of the best skincare devices. And don't get me wrong, listen, I wasn't happy to spend the $200. I wish I wouldn't have dropped my other one, but crap happens and I just wasn't willing to be without it. So I invested in another one for now, which I think I will have for the next several years at the very least, but I'll have to make some decisions in the future, obviously. Anyway, you guys, that's it. Those are the skincare devices that I use the most this past year. These are the things that have gotten my skin, along with skincare, to where it is right now, and I'm very happy with where my skin is. If I just stay here for the next few years, I would be perfectly content with that. My skin's gonna continue to age. You don't need to tell me that. People like to tell me that all the time. I know, not dumb. But I can keep things looking good. I can, you know, look in the mirror and say, I am taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my skin, taking care of the outside and the inside. Don't just take care of the outside of your body. Obviously, make sure that you're getting enough sleep, enough water, good nutrition, that you're exercising, all of those things. It all plays a role. But yeah, just take good care of yourself and do what you can, do what you know that you are going to be willing to do for your skin, and you can make great progress at home with these at-home devices. So I would love to know if there are any at-home devices that you use on a regular basis. Let me know which ones. Let me know the benefits that you've seen. Leave feedback for other people in the comments below if you have some recommendations. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for being a part of the Best of 2025 series. So many great discoveries in 2025. Can't wait to see what is to come this year. So yeah. Anyway, if you're new, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.